The first time I used the Ouija board with my oldest sister was a brief, but memorable one. This was back when I was around 14 to 15 years old and had already been through some experiences I have written about before. We have always been very spiritual and also into all things some call paranormal. We are pagans, and she had always wanted to try the Ouija board out. So one day she asked if we could try it and communicate with the spirit through one. We could even have a chance to contact the possible spirits in our house. There has been paranormal things happening to a lot of people since the house was built by our grandfather in the 1940s, all the way through from our grandmother, mother, aunts, our mother's sisters, us, random visitors, and since no one had died in there ever, we were curious as to how these spirits choose to locate themselves in our home. Some say that receptive, intuitive people lure spirits to themselves, and I think that is true. And there we were, a whole family full of people with the sixth sense, so to speak. I also believe there is this spiritual hotspot in my childhood home, since certain areas in particular are very active, but that is a story for another time. So, me being always up to paranormal things and finding out more information, especially since I started seeing spirits and whatnot, I accepted. We made our own Ouija board out of cardboard, the planchette as well, and my sister drawing to the necessary letters yes and no and goodbye. We had gone through all the basic rules of using the board, and with my sister, I didn't have to worry about her being rude to the spirits or disrespecting them or asking silly questions. We had worked with the spirits before, just not the same kind of spirits. It was in the middle of the day. We were in my room, which is the north facing corner room upstairs of our house. The lights were out, but some light was streaming in from the window, on which I didn't use proper full covering curtains because I like the natural light coming in. We put our hands onto the planchette, and I bid my sister do the honors to start the conversation. So she did. A simple hello. That is what she said to the board. The planchette started to move, scraping onto the surface of the board. It moved quite steadily, not slow but not so fast as what it had done before. And right when the word hello was starting to form back from the board, this hideous, mind-blowingly loud scratching sound came from the nearest corner of the room. The sound was awful. It sounded like something with big claws was trying to force its way through the wall to the other side, the side we were on. I was shocked. My sister was startled, and right when the board finished its hello, we said goodbye. We waited until the board said the same, which was right away, thank goodness, and we took our hands off the board and picked up the planchette up as well. The noise stopped right there, and I jumped up, turning on the lights. For a couple of seconds, everything was still. Me standing, my sister sitting on the floor, and we both stared at the corner where the noise had came from. Then I spurred into action, walking to that set corner. We had to make sure it wasn't just something like one of our cats scratching the wall or something. For although we believe in supernatural, we always make sure first that there isn't any natural, logical explanation to things we see, hear, or feel. So I went there and checked how it looked. There were no animals except my African giant land snails in their terrarium. There were no cats in the room, and there had been no one coming in or out. And we will notice since we were sitting right next to the doorway before, The snails were all asleep, but there would have been no natural explanation for them coming up with that noise like that, since they do hardly any noise at all, even when moving and climbing the glass. Next to the terrarium, there was nothing. Behind it was only the CD shelf, and nothing had happened to that. And below the terrarium was only some of my stuff in a bag. So there was nothing that could have caused such a loud, creepy, constant noise like that. And the noise couldn't have come from outside since we all knew well how it sounded when a squirrel, or a bird, or a mouse was climbing or scratching the outer wall, or the roof of the house. The walls of my room were all building board topped with this soft, concrete type of thing, painted over. I tried my own nails onto the wall, and it made a similar sound when I put my strength into it and scratched what all I got. Only difference was the sound we heard was more intense, loud, and made with bigger, sharper claws than mine could possibly ever be. After that, we didn't use the board again right away, not without a better means to keep all things evil out. So we searched through various books and internet sites, filling in all the possible ways and things that ward off evil. We used all the basics after that when using the board, like protective circles and symbols, salt, silver, you name it. We most likely got it. We never heard that scratching sound again, ever. Not while using the board, nor in other situations. And we have used the board past the time we had never turned off the lights again. The reason I am telling this short experience is because after it, I experienced something that I think is linked to this event. Something that to this day is still the scariest, darkest thing has ever happened to me. About that incident, I will write in my next story, for it is a long one and deserves to be recognized by its own.